Well, hey gang, Darryl Davis from Darryl Davis Seminars. You know, for years, my company has been committed to helping people design a life worth smiling about. And one of the things that we did to support that commitment, that mission, is in 2015, we created a foundation called America's Hope for America's Children. And what we do is we take one of our revenue streams in my company and we take 10% of that revenue and we put it into this foundation. Then the foundation looks for other charities or organizations that do something that directly or indirectly help children deal with any emotional challenges that they might be having. So today, we're going to go into this building here and give a nice donation to Long Island Against Domestic Violence. This is something I learned about domestic violence, that over 3 million children are exposed each year to domestic violence. Just here in the U.S., that 1 out of 3 adolescent girls will be will go through some kind of abuse in their adolescence. And so anyway, so we're very excited to be doing this, and so we're going to go in and give this donation. So anyway, thanks. Have a wonderful day, and let's, I guess, go in. Hey, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
The weather
The weather?
got me feeling down.
Oh, come on. You gotta put a smile on.
I had a smile last week. I smile a lot more close to the weekend.
Okay.
Enjoy your day.
All right. Enjoy your week.
You as well.
What's her name? Colleen. We've got high security here.
Hey, how can I help you?
Did somebody order pizza? No, I'm just kidding. I'm here for Colleen.
And your name?
This is Darryl Davis.
Hold on, Darryl.
Thank you. Okay, they want the pizza.
Yeah, nice place to put a pole.
I know.
I'm Diane. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Diane. Nice to meet you. How are you?
How are you?
All right. Well, hey, gang, Darryl Davis. So I'm here with Colleen Merlot from Long Island Against Domestic Violence. So, Colleen, so tell me again here, what programs, how long has this organization been around, by the way?
We've been in existence for 41 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And do you know, I should have prepped you on this question, but do you know how many families that you guys maybe impact in a year, or children, or some rough number?
We help about 4,000 people through our direct services each
Okay.
year. I would say about 25% of those are children.
Wow.
Or families.
Okay, all right, okay, great. And it'd be nice if you weren't in business. But that's great work you're doing. I know you guys do incredible stuff. What programs are you doing right now that are helping the kids?
Sure. So one of the programs that helps our kids is we have a 16-bed shelter, and that shelter accepts single women, single men, as well as men and women who are bringing families or children into the shelter.
Okay.
Once they come into our shelter, we provide services to help them with their emotional well-being. So, you know, children that are exposed to domestic violence can actually have an array of problems if we don't intervene at an early age, including high school dropout, depression over their lifetime. They're actually statistically higher attempts of suicide. So we want to make sure that we're breaking that cycle and giving kids tools. So we also include counseling and things like that to get them able to take the step and live a life free of violence.
Okay, all right, good. What other programs do you have?
So in addition to the shelter, we also do non-residential counseling at our office.
Okay.
Again, it's to help kids learn what's healthy and not healthy so that they know what to expect from relationships. And we extend that not just to romantic relationships. We think it's important for people to kind of expect and really demand, healthy boundaries and good communication skills from any relationship that they're going to be in. And that lays the foundation for when they are in a romantic relationship. If you expect that in friendships,
Yes.
then you expect that from someone you're going to be more intimately involved
And
with.
I would think too, I mean, with, children learn from the adults, the parents, or not parents, but could be close relatives, what relationships are supposed to look like, what love's supposed to look like. So this, I think, directly impacts them, yeah?
Absolutely. And some of the other things we do is to work with the parents, because parents have been through something really horrific, and some of the trauma symptoms, even when they're out of the relationship, can affect them and their children. So we work with parents to how do they talk to their kids about the relationship that they were in and the trauma that the whole family was exposed to, so that the family can really heal together.
Wow, great stuff. Is there anything else that I think you mentioned you're also going to the schools, right?
Right, that's a big, important piece. It's very important to me personally, but also to the organization. It's prevention.
Yes.
When I was younger, no one came into my high school and talked to me, or any of my school years, about what a healthy relationship looks like. So we're in the schools now talking about healthy relationships, and we tie that in with bullying, because it's all a piece of that. It's how people are treating one another. And we really think if people can understand what to expect from a relationship, then hopefully they're going to know the warning signs when they start to get into a bad relationship. And the sooner someone can get out of a bad relationship, really the better outcome.
Wow, okay, great. What advice, if you were to give one piece of advice to somebody that is either currently in a domestic violence situation, or a friend knows of a friend who's in that, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think for someone who's in a domestic violence situation, to trust their instincts. If something doesn't feel right in the relationship, it probably isn't. So when it's safe to do so, when is it safe to do so? When the abuser is not around, they're not going to hear you on the phone, call our hotline, talk to someone. Even if you're unsure whether it's really domestic violence or it's just a crappy relationship, call our hotline, because we can help you understand that and then gain the necessary tools and resources to get out of the relationship or to be more safe within the relationship. And then for friends, one of the biggest things we hear from friends is, I'm going to go talk to him. Even other family members will say, if it's a man that's an abuser, I'm going to go talk to him. I'm going to, put some sense into him.
I'll straighten him out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can actually put the victim in more harm's way, because what does that mean? That means perhaps the victim talked to you about it, or that people are starting to notice, and that can escalate the violence.
Because somebody who's actually doing the violence, the domestic violence, if I'm not mistaken, they want to isolate the person. That helps give them the control.
Correct.
And so if that starts to break down where people are hearing about it, that would they I guess would panic and get more violent. Yeah.
And something else is typically in domestic violence situations, the abuser is seen to the outside world as very charismatic, not violent at all, and it's surprising that this person can be violent in their home. So when that image starts to break down, it can also escalate the violence. So what I would say, if you have a friend who you're worried about, let the friend know that you're worried about them. Be supportive, listen, don't push for the person to get out of the relationship. That could actually be dangerous. But have our hotline number ready so that if the person does want to leave the relationship or is ready to come into counseling or anything like that, you have it.
Good.
And one thing I just want to say in regards to that is sometimes people think, I don't want to get out of this relationship, or I'm not ready to, I can't call a domestic violence hotline. But we don't push people. We'll help you even if you're in the relationship. We just want you to learn to be safer.
What do you do? So when there's children involved and somebody comes to you, how do you help those kids through this transition of getting out of this domestic violence scenario?
So sometimes our children are coming into our shelter, and what we do at the shelter is try to make the children's lives as normal as possible.
Okay.
Granted, they're living in a shelter, in a congregate setting that they're not used to, but we do everything we can to try to keep the shelter to be fun and light for the kids. They go to school and do all of their normal activities. And then we also couple that with counseling, again, to focus on the emotional well-being of the child, to help them have a safe place to talk about the fact that, mommy and daddy were fighting and maybe mom was the abuser. I still love mom. And those feelings can be really hard for a child to balance, love and also a dislike for the behavior that went on. Kids don't have those words to express that.
Right.
And then we also have counseling, non-residential counseling, so that if children were exposed to domestic violence, they can come in and talk about those feelings as well. And one of the things we talked about before is oftentimes victims, that's the last straw for them, is when the children seem to be
being really affected by it.
Yes.
So that motherly instinct probably, because I'm assuming most of these domestic violence is a man against or to a woman. I would think that's the most common scenario.
Statistically, that is true.
Yeah.
But men, I think, are abused a lot more than we know. But there's so much shame and stigma in any domestic violence. But then when there's a man and that machoism, there's so much pressure. So, I think we serve men here, and I'm always in awe of the courage that it takes to walk through the door for any of our victims, who are coming for services.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. So I guess whether it's a man or a woman, for some, when they see now, like they'll take the abuse, but when they see their kid being now messed up by it, that's the tipping point where they say, I've got to stop this cycle. Yeah, okay.
Very often.
All right, good. Well, let's see. We've got this. We can see this in the shot, right? So the website is liadv.org. And do we have the phone number there, or is Colleen's head cutting?
It was, but it's okay now.
Okay, 631-666-8833. So we're going to do this check giving now. And so let's do that, and we'll just take a cut.